And we're going. We're live. Hello.
Welcome back to the Shid podcast. It has been quite a while since our last episode. We've all been busy. It's been quite a time. Everyone knows what's going on. It's a life. But we are officially back with your host Elijah and your co-host Dexter
Dexter!
Howell.
I'm
Ethan could
Dexter.
not be here with us today, but we do have a special guest, Mr. Bradley.
What's up? How y'all doing?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna
Oh
call this
yeah,
season
oh
two.
yeah.
Heck shit season two.
Season
Alright guys?
two.
Season
It's
two.
been so
Uh
long since y'all did the podcast. Y'all got to call it season two now.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
Alright. Alright. We're back.
We
Dude,
just had a really long hiatus between seasons.
shit
had to happen.
has been wild. It has been a busy and I have a lot of things to talk about.
Roller
Um
coaster.
A
Roller
lot of stuff
coasters. I have
happened.
not been on any.
That's wild, man.
um, yeah. So, Bradley,
Yeah. What's up?
uh, what? Tell me about something that's like. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. Let's introduce you to
Um,
To the
was
viewers.
born in Sacramento, raised in Yuba City. Moved out to Texas for a while. Had my experience there for a couple of years. Moved back down to Yuba City. Just same shit, different day. Just trying to live life. Trying to stay
the.
away from bullshit. Just trying to be myself.
Eli. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Let me.
Oh, yeah. Uh, 22, smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah.
Um, I change oil and tires for a living. That's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Sounds better than what I do for my fucking job. I sit in front of fucking DDs and sit there and welcome people into the store.
oh, a greeter.
Woo!
What you mean?
So,
Yeah.
I'm Dexter. I'm an artist in California, and I have a I'm going to college right now. I'm a college student. I just started at Chico State. Guys, I got to tell you about going to college at Chico State. It's so cool. Like it's
I
so cool.
remember
I'm so
touring
excited.
Actually, going to a main
over
university is
like
it's
high
a
Like
school
college
or whatever.
experience.
I never remembered any of my family members going to college. I think I'm like a first generation because none of my siblings went. I don't none of my immediate grandparents or like uncles or grand or aunts went. I don't think. Um
I'm pretty sure you're the first generation then.
I think I am, and that's wild to think about that I'm the college student of my family. I'm studying art. I have an associate's degree in art. Going to community college was a lot like going to high school. And then as soon as I went to like a university at Chico State, it's like it opened up. It's like the whole town is dedicated to this college. It is wild to think about, and I'm so excited. I'm learning so many cool things. I love to learn. And my dad was gonna go to learn how to do pit stops for NASCAR. You want to be like the pit guys who like change your tires and shit for
Yeah.
the NASCAR and send them on the way, slap the car in the butt. Get going. Here's your gas.
Yeah.
Um,
Come on, change that tire real quick. Change that tire. Hurry up, hurry up. Come on, come
I
on, come
think
on.
my dad was trying to go to college before he inevitably died. But
Yeah.
so let's talk about the first thing we wanted to talk about for this podcast was going to Aftershock. I took Ethan to Aftershock. I'm gonna save that for next time because I want Ethan to talk
Yeah,
about it
since
more.
Ethan's not here.
But I did go to three
Because
other
if I'm
concerts.
not mistaken, that would be Ethan's first concert, right?
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I took
So we definitely need
Aftershock
him to
is an
be here for that.
insane first concert. I'm not gonna lie.
um,
Yeah,
it was so cool. So I'm not gonna tell you about that. Sorry, next time. But
Yeah.
I did go
next
to
time,
you know what?
guys.
I took
Tune in for the next
Bradley.
episode. We already got a cliffhanger for next episode. All right.
Yeah, Bradley. I took you to Necrogoblicon in 2024.
Yeah, that was fun. I'm kind of sad that,
Did they play
Mom
Power
got
Core?
sick.
It was
I'm
the
pretty
first
sure they
song.
did.
Power Core was the first song.
Of course it
It,
was.
it was it was a fun time. I'm kind of sad everyone that was supposed to be there didn't show up, but it was a good time. It was my first. I've been to a lot of underground shows growing up when I lived in Texas, and I first started going to concerts. So that was the first like kind of big
Like,
show that I
yeah,
was in a
like a
mosh pit
bigger
in.
event.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a lot bigger events that I'd been into, and it was the first bigger mosh pit I was in. So that was definitely an experience that will stay with me. But it was a lot of fun. You know,
So if
everyone there,
people
no one had problems, and everyone was just having a good time, enjoying the goblin.
everybody everybody if I asked is, do you know this band? They've never heard of Necrogoblicon before, so I'm gonna explain what this band
They were
is.
just
Yeah, go
Necrogoblicon,
ahead.
I would describe them as like a theatrical death metal band about
That's the
they
best way to describe it, to be
they
honest.
sing songs about goblins that come from outer space and can never die, and they tell like these like little folk stories through their songs about goblins, like how the only way for them to die is to play a song from the tome of a book that will make their heads explode, and they'll finally be at peace because they can live forever and they just live in space for a millennia. And um
Just straight crazy shit.
straight crazy shit. And it's just
Exactly.
like I brought my girlfriend to this concert. I brought Kelsey, and Kelsey is
You
this
know,
shy, introverted person. But after two drinks and a lot of music, like she was in the mosh pit more than me. She was obsessed with. She
yeah,
wanted
no,
to go
I don't,
into the mosh pit.
I don't mean to cut you off, Dex, but I remember I was sitting there because I was wearing very baggy pants. So when I was in the mosh pit, it was half of me moshing and half of me keeping my pants up. And I remember I got out of the mosh, like I finally got out of the mosh pit, and I was sitting there and I was fixing the belt on my pants, and I look over to my left because I started looking for everyone because I was in the mosh pit. I don't know where everyone's at, and I see you grab Kelsey's hand and just you both went straight into the middle of the mosh pit, and I was like, holy shit. Like fuck yeah, I was like, I got elbowed like six fucking times, thrown around. I'm sitting there recuperating myself. I see y'all just straight headlining into the middle of the mosh, and I was like, hell yeah,
I was
good ass night, man.
headbanging so much at that concert. I was sore for 5 days
You,
after.
you were you were going around the whole crowd moshing when there wasn't a pit. Like you were going around trying to start a pit
I was
constantly.
trying to make the
Exactly. No,
there.
that was
And
you
he
the
wasn't
whole
feeling
concert.
the
Just
pit.
every time, like the whole headliners and everything. You were going like for a while. Me and you were going around doing the same thing, but I had to stop because I was trying to save my energy for the fucking main mosh pit and everything.
I
But
was head
you were
I
going
headbang I
crazy.
was doing some
You were
full
everywhere.
body fucking thrash dancing. I was
Yeah,
so
it was
sore and
insane.
sweaty, and I was like dead. And Kelsey was kept dragging me into the mosh. Like, come on, let's go mosh. Like, I'm dead. Please
Yeah.
let me stop.
I remember us walking to the car because we had it parked in one of the parking lots in Sacramento. And we were sitting there walking, and we were just all just like zombies, just walking down the street, just oh fuck, man.
Oh
Gotta
yes,
go home. Gotta go work in the morning.
Eli, have you gone to any concerts recently?
I have not,
Oh man.
unfortunately.
So,
That's kind of depressing.
do you remember Faith at all, Eli? So,
Mm,
Faith was one of these friends I
no.
had since like elementary school. Like she just like spawned somewhere, hung out with my cousin Owen, who is now a Satan worshiper and in prison. But like Faith and I were friends for a little bit, and then they separated, and then she was my coworker, and then we just like reconvened our like and so we went to a concert, and this it was All American Rejects. So it was like this more poppy stuff that I'm not really into. But we brought a mushroom chocolate bar. And Faith was just like hand feeding me pieces of this chocolate bar, and we were in public, so I was like, "No, get that fuck, fine, this shit," and he eat it, but I had like half of that chocolate bar.
Oh boy.
and
Was it
and I
the polka dot?
yes, it was. Um, and I was reading this book at the time, Hunter S. Thompson's The Rum Diary, and Hunter S. Thompson in this book is like this grumpy character who's kind of an introvert, but he's also like a reporter, and he has to go in and talk to people and get the scoop and hear the story. But the idea is he's always hopped up on drugs or super drunk out of his mind, so he really only tells like this personal story of the experience that he had when he was there, and really doesn't go out of his way to like explain any of it. Or he just tells this really cool story about how he got drunk or high and went to this like thing he was supposed to like do a report on, and came back with just about nothing because he's a bad reporter. um, and they had this rum. The whole book. It's like rum, 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 rum. That's the only thing he ever drinks. The only thing he ever looks for is I need rum. I need ice. I'm gonna go do a report. Oh, let me go hit up the bar and get some rum real quick. Um, so this concert was selling like rum and lemonade, and oh my, I drank like 10 of those. I gave them so much money, and I didn't know that alcohol killed psilocybin in mushrooms, which was kind of lame. But it
Yeah.
gave me this weird bodily experience where I had these hot chills going up and down my arms and my body and my spine, and I was like, I was I became a full on copy of Hunter S. Thompson. I became Hunter S. Thompson. All right. I became an introvert. I kind of just like hung out in the very, very back of the concert where I couldn't see anything, and hung out in the grass and laid down for like 30 minutes, I think. I really didn't want to move. Like Faith is really good at talking to people. She just like scored tickets to go into the mosh pit, like because you need the
That's insane.
wristband to get up front. So we just like got to go into the mosh pit. When we got there, I was so tired and sick. I didn't want to do anything but stare at the ground. so and like by the time the concert was just about over in like 10 minutes, I was like done. The noise was like murdering me. So I was like going around looking for earbuds. And all the places have closed because it closes in 10 minutes, and I couldn't find any earbuds. So I was just like grumpy, you know? But and then we went to Hard Rock Casino after that. And oh my god, being at the casino on mushrooms is weird, dude.
Yeah, no, the amount of
No.
things that I've done on mushrooms, I couldn't imagine myself going to a casino. I'd probably have a full mental breakdown and just,
The floors
it'd be
were
bad.
moving. They were like
Just so many
whoa.
lights, so many people, too many things going on at once. It's just,
And I
oh
was in
Just
no.
all the
full.
bright
I
ass
was
lights and loud fucking machines screaming.
Yeah, no, fuck that, man.
and I was in full on grumpy
Woo!
mode as well. I
I
was
just
a
found a
pessimist
whisker.
because I was still in Hunter S. Thompson mode. Um, but the other
Sleep
concert
at
was
the time
cool.
I'm home on.
If you guys know our All American Rejects, they sounded like that.
Yeah, my cousin Brittany was into them. The first time I heard one of their songs, I remember I was probably 10, 11, and I was hanging out with her, and it was I think it was about a year and a half before I started smoking weed, and I'd chill with her in her room, and she would constantly roll joints and smoke, and she'd put me onto a lot of music. I remember she put me onto a lot of stuff like All American Rejects, Non Point. like just a lot of stuff like that.
Nonpoint is one of those bands where I have two songs on my playlist and I'm never going to listen to them just because I liked him at first, but after a second listen to it, I was like, oh, it's not really
I
magic. I
grew
like
up with Nonpoint. Like I have a couple of, like you were saying, I have a couple of their songs in my playlist, but when I grew up with them, it was more of my dad showing me videos when he went to concerts and they were live. So I watch a lot of their live performances, and I think they're one of those bands that are definitely better live. But I mean, they're all right when it comes to that type of metal and just their whole style and everything.
So I went to another concert for Hot Water Music.
Bro,
Hot Water
Jesus
Music
Christ. How many
Who is
is
concerts
this?
like
did you go to last
I have another one after
I
this. I'm
think
still going to talk about.
I think in
time?
2024, at least. I know I went to one concert with Dexter, which was Necrogoblicon,
I gotta step my game
but
up. I haven't even
I
been
went
looking
to
for concerts.
I went
Dude,
to two other concerts that year. 2023 was the main year that I went to concerts and everything, which was
so
more of the end of the year than 2024 was just kind of just whatever.
I would call Hot Water Music like punk with a tang of country because the lead singer has this like almost a country style voice, but it's like almost metallic and metal. So they just recently took on the lead singer of the Flatliners, my favorite band of all time, Chris Cresswell, into their band as a lead guitarist, and then they had Chris Cresswell got to sing some songs with with the Hot Water Music. So I essentially got to see like my favorite artist play during this concert. Um,
That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That doesn't
yeah,
happen a lot when it comes to music and concerts and everything. So that's really cool.
Kelsey and I's song, I call it our song, um, is "Drag My Body" from Hot Water Music, and it was cool when it yeah. And Kelsey, after a while, she's less attached to that song than I am, but every time I hear that song, I think about her. So whenever we got to hear that, that was also very nice. And I got a sweater. Someone spilled booze all over my sweater. I was wearing it. That's what I
That's
get.
fucked.
But um,
Had to
and then
happen is part of the experience.
and then recently, my favorite band that I've been listening to for like 3 years now, the Narcissist Cookbook, and then also Bug Hunter. I discovered Bug Hunter because the Narcissist Cookbook does a podcast with Bug Hunter called Jam Mechanics. But
I've never heard of
uh,
Bug Hunter, but I've listened to the Narcissistic Cookbook for a good while. I like their
yeah.
style. I'll have to check them out. I'm
So
pretty sure me and you were hanging out, and I put on one of their songs, and you kind of looked at me, and you were like, "There ain't no way me and you have the same type of music and like the same." Like for me, I looked at you, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, do you like this type of music? And you're like, yeah. And I put a couple songs on, and you kind of looked at me, and you were like, no fucking way, man. This is the same
well,
type of music. It's like, what
I
the
feel the
fuck?
same way when you play the Taxpayers as well. The Taxpayers is one of those bands like
Yeah.
no one else likes this but me, and then you start playing, I'm like, oh my god.
I listen
um.
to basically every genre of music except country, and I've been dabbling into country recently.
Hmm.
So it's my music taste is just everywhere. So I don't even know. I listen to so much music on the daily. It's just I know so many bands, and I just put some music on. Someone's like, "Hey, I know this," and I'm like, "Oh shit, hell yeah!"
Um, so the tickets for Narcissist Cookbook were like $25. This year it's $30
That's
in
insane.
Sacramento. And it like
What
everyone
are
who
they
went,
playing this year?
they're playing this year May 1st. So
Are the
uh VIP
I
tickets
don't need to buy tickets.
I think VIP tickets were like $45 last year, but this year when I looked they were like $80 for VIP tickets.
Are you going this
Last
year?
I don't. So last year we showed up really fucking early. We showed up at like 5 o'clock, and then when we got there, we heard
Yeah.
music. So like, hey, is this is we saw this old guy. like taking stuff out of a van, and we're like, "Hey, is this the Narcissist Cookbook show?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're doing the VIP show right now. Like, can we pay to go into the VIP show?" And this guy was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, come in, come in. We'll buy your tickets right now." Actually, no, wait. And he's like, "Actually, no, don't pay us yet. Come in. I'll remember your face because I don't want you to miss it. They only play 2 songs each for these 2 bands, and then you get like access to like merch, and you can
Yeah,
take
so
a
it's
picture."
kind of a mini show before the main show.
Yeah, so I showed up. They let us in. I felt so anxious because they just like ushered us in for free. And then Ethan hadn't paid for anything at all yet. I had to like buy Ethan's ticket and his VIP ticket. Um, and then they
So
played this
Ethan's
song.
just there on a free ride.
Yeah. A little this short old lady came up and tried to hit on Ethan at this concert.
I mean, it's Ethan, the luscious locks and everything, and he's that guy.
Doesn't surprise me.
The
But
the
oh,
boots, the jeans, the jacket.
He's got the
He's that
swag.
guy. I'm saying he's got the swag 24/7. He's that guy.
yeah, but after I had the idea is I spent so much money at this concert. I didn't buy any merch or T-shirts or pics from it or anything because I owed them a bunch of money at the end of the day. I walked up to Bug from Bug Hunter and it's like, "Hey, I owe you guys like $300." And it's like, "What? Are you what? Are you sure about that?" Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just I'm sorry. It had to happen, man.
Like,
I'm having a good
okay.
time, you know. I owe y'all three booth strips right now. Come on.
Kelsey got a pic, and then we rushed her out of the concert so fast because the concert was over that she dropped it, and then she had no. She didn't have any merch at the end of it either. um,
Jesus.
but like that concert was so cool. It was this tiny little venue. You can get really close. They're all playing. Both of the artists were playing acoustic guitars, and there's like a bar like 3 feet away from the artist. Um,
Was it
after
Ace
the
of Spades?
No, it was called the Starlit Room. It's and like
Oh
all the
shit,
people
I never
watching
been.
were like trans. They had or like LGBTQ people. They were all dressed up in like
Yeah,
purples and pinks, and they had all their like vests on and stuff. It was all super cool. And like after the
yeah,
Narcissist Cookbook ended his show, I watched him run around. And I got to high five him and say, "You did a really good job." It's like, yeah, I like it's like to
yeah,
talk to a guy like that and like I'm such a tiny venue and I've been listening to him for so long and I respect him so much. It's cool to do that. That was like
yeah.
so
Yeah.
No,
awesome. But I had
you
like
were
a
telling
hundred
me
bucks
they're gonna play this
after
year,
that.
May 1st. I'll buy tickets. Like I've
Hell
been
yeah.
meaning to see that band live for a while. So if you're going, best believe I'm gonna buy tickets. I'll be there.
Uh hell yeah. Money's tight right now, so I gotta start saving, but I do want to go. It's only $30 tickets, so I could probably cough up that. I
I
just
mean,
got this March 6th, I'm going to the Rare Americans. They did Brittle Bones Nikki.
Oh
that's
yeah,
dope.
Yeah.
I did a lot of other stuff too, and they did the what the fuck was the name of the song? We used to listen to it all the time. Um, Adults or Kids, right?
Oh yeah, that was on our playlist for like all of senior year.
Yeah, the last one. Um, there's another song I'm thinking of that they did too. I don't know. I'll think of it eventually.
Well, yeah, just shout it out whenever you remember. Interrupt whoever's talking, just to remember what you're
Yep.
doing.
Do y'all have any topics that y'all want to talk about? Y'all have anything written down?
I've been
Okay.
talking a lot.
So I know that Daxter has, of course, played Elden Ring. Bradley, I don't know
I
if you
w-
have, but have you guys heard of Elden Ring Night Rain.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm gonna.
I've
Yeah,
I've watched I've watched the trailer and
Yeah,
everything that they did. So when it
they
comes
did
to
they did a play test recently. People
I
got to
heard
play
about
it.
that. Yeah, I saw a couple YouTubers that got access to it and they did gameplay on it.
it's Elden
It
Ring
looks
Fortnite.
so good.
It's Elden Ring
It's
Fortnite.
the okay. Literally, the only Fortnite aspect is the fact that there's a storm.
There's a
Yeah.
loot. There's a loot table, and things have different colored loot for how valuable it is. It's Fortnite
So
Elden
Well,
Ring, and I'm excited to
I'm just
play
wait,
it.
wait. Elden Ring also had different tiers of loot. There were legendary armaments and shit.
Yeah, but
I
like
So
it
haven't
was.
like you
played
can't exactly say that
I've
that's
played
from fucking
Souls
Fortnite.
1, 2, and 3, and I've beaten Jericho and Bloodborne, but I
Also,
haven't
there's
tried.
a lot of other games that have a loot system with tiers like that. Like, I hate
Oh,
that everyone is saying it's like Fortnite. I hate that because it's literally not.
yeah, the gameplay that I've seen, it doesn't really, like you were saying, other than the storm, from what I've seen, it doesn't really feel like Fortnite. I don't know, when it comes to that type of game, that you kind of go on wave in, and it kind of just, you have that storm aspect and everything, it's a lot different.
I
I'm
was a
kind of
little
excited
confused.
for it.
I'm really excited for it.
Yeah,
I was a
as
little
someone,
confused during the playtest though, because
no,
all the videos that I was seeing, people were only doing like it was only 3 days, and then it took them to the final boss immediately. And I guess apparently that was just for the playtest, and you can in the actual like full game you can just go for like
yeah,
a lot of days. And
Oh,
also the map is randomized every time.
what?
that's one thing I kind of respected when I was watching the gameplay of everything. Just when it goes on and you kind of progress, it's completely randomized, so it's not the same thing every time.
Yeah.
Which
So
was
there's
when
no
I
way to
was,
like you can't just like get down the best route and just run it every. There's replay
yeah,
value to it.
yeah, that was my main concern when I saw the I don't remember what event it was. I think it was State of Play of PlayStation. I might be wrong when they announced Elden Ring Nightwing and everything, but I was just like, oh, okay, I like the concept, but if they keep it on that same thing, and it's just the same map over and over, and they keep it in the same lane, it'd be very repetitive. And they
Yeah.
did the exact opposite, and I was like, oh shit,
I I think it's super cool how they did it. It's like procedurally generated kind of like how
yeah,
Minecraft does it, where there's like a bunch of different chunks that are pre-made, and then they based on the seed that's put in or this random seed that's generated, it like so they took the Elden Ring map and just broke it into a bunch of parts and then slammed those parts together, and now it makes random maps every time.
yeah.
It's
And
super cool.
as someone that I don't mean to cut you off, but as someone that hasn't played, I've played about maybe 4 or 5 hours of Elden Ring,
Yeah.
and kind of seeing it and just basing it off the gameplay and when they dropped the base trailer, it looks promising. I mean, they're going at a different aspect when it comes to a Souls game, which I kind of respect because, I
It's
was kind of figuring
I
they'd do
wouldn't even
something
say
different.
it's really a Souls like.
I mean, if you really think about it, it's based off Elden Ring. So you can base it to where it's not in the Souls series, but it's definitely a Soulsborne. Like it's like Serico. It's not a Souls game, but
Oh,
it has the
yeah.
same aspects.
I
Uh,
just beat Dark
I
Souls
mean, it does
2.
have the loot.
Yeah.
It has the loot and the enemies directly out of Elden Ring. So like,
So a
What were you
while
saying? You
ago,
said you just beat Dark Souls 2?
I beat Dark Souls 2 without leveling up.
Oh, without leveling up. You
Yeah.
beat it at level 1.
Yes.
All right.
I
Flex.
didn't. Yeah, yeah. It was hard. I'm not gonna do it again. In fact, it burnt me out of playing Dark Souls 2. I can't play it anymore. Every time I touch it, I'm like, no, I'm not
I
doing the
remember
no
you telling me
bonfire
once.
run.
I'm pretty sure it was the day after you completed your run through that, and I was talking to you, and you're like, "Hey, I just beat Dark Souls level 1, and I was just like, "Oh shit," because I was replaying Serico at that point, and you looked at me and you were just like, "I'm done with Souls games. Like, I can't. I'm burnt. Like, I
I
can't do that shit no more."
Gotta
That
do
was
Serica
what.
level 1 now. Or Sekiro level 1.
Dude,
I don't even
Sekiro
want to imagine that
is
because
my character is standing in front of the final boss in Sekiro, and he's never gonna beat him. It's never gonna happen. I'm never gonna beat the
Sekiro
game,
is
but
one of those games
To
that's just
be
like
fair, that's
it's
it's
a
my
Elden
Elden
Ring
wall.
for
character right
me.
now.
It's a wall, and the only way to progress is to bash your head through that wall. It is a brutal
Did you
game.
ever beat the Radon DLC boss?
Oh no, I have not gotten very far into the DLC. Nope.
Uh,
Um, I killed the
my guy was
dancing.
sitting at the final boss of the DLC.
I've
I
seen
killed the
gameplay of the
dancing
DLC,
lion.
but
I killed two hippos, two giant hippos, and then like two dragons, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
I enjoyed the DLC. It was fun, except
It's
for the
big,
final boss.
it's vast and open, and there's nothing to fucking
The
do.
DLC is gigantic. There's a lot to do, actually.
I don't know. I just found myself wandering open fields and then like finding nothing for like long stretches of time, and like finding these big sections in the map that had nothing in them, and they served no purpose. It seemed, and it was just wasting my time. So I don't know.
Oh,
The default Elden Ring map was fine. Um, there was stuff, there were things, but I don't know. I
don't
can't
spoil
play.
anything since I haven't played Elden Ring, so kind of keep it basic.
Okay, moving on. So,
Yeah.
do you guys want to talk about our constitutional crisis that we're in?
which one?
Let's talk about Elon Musk.
All right.
So he's the richest man in the world. He's only gotten more
And
rich since Donald Trump was elected
and
president.
now he's part of our government.
He's not elected. He was. No one asked for him. No, he
He's
was.
not an elected part of our government. He's just a part of our government.
He was being investigated by all of these federal businesses that he's just now shutting down. Like he was being investigated for like committing crimes by these people, and then he turns around and shuts them down. Like they're like deleting their competitors or anyone who's gonna get in their way. Um, did you hear what his kid said? Did you see that stream where his kid was talking?
No.
So Elon Musk was like standing in the Oval Office next to Donald Trump, like behind the desk, and then his kid was like in front of him. And like I swear to God, the kid leaned over to talk to Donald Trump, and the kid said something like something something president, you need to go away. You need to go away. Now, what the fuck is Elon Musk telling that kid to make him think that? I don't know. I don't know. I
I
think
don't know.
I think Elon Musk is just like taking as much advantages of shit. He's a criminal. He should go to jail. He should go to jail. We made Brad opt out. He said, um. Okay, next let's talk about Donald Trump. Um.
Okay, what y'all talking about me?
So I was in a protest at my school at Chico State.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I saw the picture that you showed me that you were on the
wait,
news and everything, and you were on the front lines. You were sitting there with your glasses and shit.
dude, I did not expect that. I did not expect that, but I found the
I
news
don't
outlet
think
that was
any of us expected that. It was just one of those random things that they took a random picture
so
of that whole protest, and you were just happened to be on the front lines sitting there, just like, yeah,
so Chico
I'm
State
that
was
guy. I'm
having
there.
protests against deportation and Donald Trump. And my it was really loud. Like they had megaphones and shit and drums. And my teacher, everyone looked out the windows like, okay, if anyone wants to go to protest, you could leave class. So I did.
It's like, fuck that.
So I did.
You're giving me an option not to sit there in class, and
So
I
I
agree with this shit.
I
Bam,
marched with
I'm out
them.
of there.
I marched with them and listened to what they said for about an hour, maybe more. And then they went off campus and we walked around for a long time. I got to learn a little bit more about Chico and look around about it. Um, and everyone was honking and saying they support us. And then I went back to class. I had enough time to go. I had enough time to get back to class with like 10 minutes left before it closed, and talk about it and see what everyone's
Hell
like a
yeah.
little. Yeah, and then I like there were a bunch of people taking pictures passing by. I made a couple faces to some of the cameras. I'm glad they didn't use that one, but the ones that they did get was me just like being peaceful. I put Sharpie on the back of my printmaking board that I was using. I wrote "Love Thy Neighbor," but you couldn't see it in the video. But it's me with my
Yeah.
glasses and my hat and everything.
I remember, I think I was just waking up getting water that morning. And it was the morning that, like, the day after they posted it on the news. And I think you were talking to Blake. And I was just getting water. And you're like, hey, look at this. And I was looking at it for a second. I was like, like, I just see a news report. And he's like, no, I'm right there. And I looked and I saw your glasses and everything. And I was like, holy shit. What the fuck? Like, yeah, yeah.
Woo,
Man's on the
dude!
front line news. Hell yeah.
So since I'm so excited and amped about going to college, let's talk about how they're trying to destroy the Department of Education and defund. They're this is gonna lead to like drops in funding to schools and probably like school lunch programs. You know, like a bunch of hungry kids. And why do they want to cut the D the Department of Education? I don't know. I don't know, but that's scary to think about.
It's scary to think about, but I think at this point, a lot of states are changing their laws and everything. Like when I lived in Texas, there's a lot of friends that I had that they would come to school. Like I have a class with them, and they come to school once a month. And it's just the work labor laws and everything. They're getting more abstract and everything, and it's getting to the point that a lot of people are just like, "Hey, fuck schooling. I'd rather work." And there's a lot of opportunities out there, and it's just you're working when before I got into my schooling and I graduated and everything, it was just all I thought in Texas was working. I didn't go to school. I just worked, and it was just fucked, man. Like that whole system is fucked. Like you should have an education before you work and everything.
Um, they also made cuts to stuff like USAID. U.S. aid sends like help to foreign countries to aid them, and that essentially builds diplomacy with us. People will like us more if we do nice things for them. That's the idea. We're getting rid of that. Got that. We don't need that shit anymore. And then we're doing tariffs on everybody. So we're just making all of like every other country hate us. Tariffs aren't good. I don't know who got it in their head that tariffs are good, but the companies are not going to pay those increased taxes. They're going to push those increased taxes onto the consumer, which would be us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, what else? What other atrocities are going on? Oh yeah, they're trying to remove trans people from history. Removing every word
Yeah,
trans from.
I I saw there was like an executive order or something that like people have to have either male or female on their passport. There are no other genders.
You know what happens when we start discriminating against these kinds of people? Like suicides get increased. People like depression increases. I've seen videos of people who are trans getting their passports changed to like their birth whatever their
Yeah,
birth
we know what you
gender.
mean. They're birth
So
sex.
so like that's scary, which means you get ousted to everybody looking at that shit to say, "Oh, you're trans," and then you're open to that kind of discrimination. Um,
I believe in
uh,
just if you want to, no matter what you want to be, just everyone has the right and do what you want to do. No one should judge you on it. And the people
I
that judge you
voted.
on it,
I
they're
voted for
dumbasses.
Jill Stein this year. Jill Stein. She was the Green Party. There's a third party. That means my vote went to waste, but I still voted for what I believed in.
Yeah, you know my whole concept when it comes to voting and everything. I'm not going to get into it on the podcast, but
um,
it
yeah,
is what it is.
wild shit. Wild, like
Yeah, just this wild shit.
my eyes have been glued to the news all day, every day. It feels like the world is ending. I hear so much bad and awful and worse stuff every
Well,
day, and it's like,
that's because your eyes are glued to the news. I don't watch the news. I don't know what's going on, so
That's what I'm saying. I'm like
I'm
that too.
fine.
Just
I'm chilling.
that's what I'm
I'm glad.
saying.
I'm glad to hear about that. But I think it's important to stay informed and to know what's happening and to be a part
Yeah,
of it.
no, it's definitely important to know what's going on, but when it comes to your beliefs and everything, everyone has their own concept when it comes to beliefs, and you can, as a right, as a U.S. citizen, you can choose any route that you want to choose. So,
Yeah, but like the person I voted for, it didn't matter. It's the third party. It's a winner take all system. So it, my vote essentially went to waste. So Donald Trump is funded by oil and gas companies. He's just gonna make them richer and go get more oil, drill baby, drill. So my concerns about the climate crisis are going unheard, but that's okay. We'll just watch the world burn.
I mean, if that's what they want, let it come,
Ooh,
but all I'm going to
I
say
just
is
summoned.
you gotta keep, you gotta keep eye on that shit, and you gotta prepare for what's to come, you know? It's the only
So
thing I can say about that.
we live in California. Eli, what news have you heard about the Palisades fire going on over down in Southern California? You live in Ohio,
Is there
Eli. So
another
that's
fire
what
going on, or is that the same LA
there's like
fire?
yeah, the LA fire is what we're talking about.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the LA fire. That's all over. People at work talking about it.
Yeah, no, and
So
then the government randomly discharging fucking fire insurance on everyone a couple of days before the fire reached LA and everything. Was a bunch of bullshit, man. I was
So let
so
the
much corrupt when it
winds
comes to that.
the winds are so strong down there that they couldn't bring in like airplanes or helicopters to help fight the fires. It all had to be done on the ground level. They were hiring prisoners to help fight the fire for like less than $3 a day. Like to go risk their life and help fight the fire for less for a meager portion of money that you wouldn't be able to survive on. But they get a benefit of probably like reduced time, or they get maybe like a
Yeah,
job.
that's probably what I would.
Maybe they could get like a
Yeah.
job as a firefighter after this. But I think that's super stalwart. That's very courageous, and I want like people should know about that. Um, there are
I heard about like some other states sent fire trucks to California to help out with the fires,
Did you know
and like they were
California?
stopped at the border. They were stopped at the border, and all of them were like checked for emissions, and they all failed California emissions, so they told them to go home.
I heard that too. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
true, but if we heard it from across the
I
world,
don't know either,
um,
but I heard that.
If that is true, though, that's a bunch of bullshit. Like you're sitting there trying
Yeah,
to help and you
like we're sitting
denying
here
that help.
trying to send help, and you guys
Yeah, no.
straight up
Someone
denied the
higher
help
than them.
because
Someone.
because my shit had fucking my shit makes a little bit too much smog for your California air.
Yeah, no, that's fucked up.
what's wild is California has the largest firefighting force in essentially the world right now. Because we have Cal Fire, regular firefighters,
Yeah, yeah, you guys have
and
fires every fucking year, so it
and
makes
this one
sense
was
that you guys have a lot of firefighters.
so the idea is the firefighters were also running out of water. They would plug the hose into the fire hydrant, and no water would come out, and that's because of water pressure. So if every house has pipes in it, and water flows through those pipes, and when the house is burning down, those pipes could burst. So we had like over like a million structures or some shit getting burnt down in this fire. That's over a million structures spurting water out in just the open air, right? Um, our fire
Yeah, so they didn't have the pressure built up to fucking spray enough water.
exactly. So when you plug it in, there's just not enough to support it. The water is probably there; it's just being used elsewhere at the time. And since everything's on fire, you can't exactly contain it. So
Mm.
Southern California has these plants that actually like reproduce in like fire season. In intense heat is when they like uh is when they're most likely to like that's the stuff that they like. And it's been a very dry last 2 years. No, very wet, rainy last 2 years, and that's caused all these plants and shrubs to grow. And then just this last year, it was hot and dry, and that of course kills all the plants, leaves them brown and dry. And then there are these oily plants that like to catch on fire, and it just spreads right with all this wind. That's the wind is always there in Southern California. It's always windy down there.
And
So
when it comes to fires, it's like the fire will be, in bases, like the base of it, it'll be fine. And then it's like, oh shit, you have 13-mile-per-hour winds. Get fucked.
and
Yeah.
those high winds just throw like embers and chars to like the next building. I've like heard stories like it can cross like 10-mile free like 10-lane freeways. Just like these little chars and ashes that go and make new spot fires all over the place. So many houses are burning. Like the firefighters aren't going to stop and put out this house. They're going to ditch it, call it a lost cause, move on to the next house that's probably not burning yet, and then try to save it as best they can. And as soon as the house that they're working on catches on fire, ditch it. It's a lost cause. Move on to the next one. The thing about a burning down house is that it burns for a long time. and it produces millions and millions of ashes and these giant gusts of smoke
Is
that go into
the
the
air
sky.
quality bad in Yuba City right now?
No, it's not. It's pretty good. I live
That's
in Northern
surprising.
California. Um, but this creates like convection currents, all of these smoke plumes, and that those launch the chars and embers even farther down the line and spread the fire even further. So it's just like this mixed bag of awful things, you know?
Yeah. There's a big fire with a lot of fuel.
Oh,
It's gonna
yeah.
keep roaring for a while.
Burn, baby, burn. Los Angeles is
Had to
burning.
happen, man. Had to happen.
Do we have anything else we would like to talk about?
I have a
Um.
couple topics. They're just random stuff.
Okay.
If you want me to go into it, I mean,
Yeah. Go for it. What you got?
all right. One of them is what's the best video game of all time? And this is based off opinion and everything.
Have
Just
you
don't take
played
it personally, people that are viewing.
Have you played Mother 3 yet, Bradley? You haven't. I know you haven't. Have you played it?
Not yet. I have them on my 2DS that I modded and everything, but I haven't played them yet. But I've heard a lot about the games. I've seen a lot of gameplay on the games. I know how they're universally loved and everything. I just haven't played them yet.
Mother 3 is
I
the
I
best
also
RPG of all
have
time.
them on my 2DS, but have not played them.
How dare both of you? It's such a good
It
game.
had to happen, man. You got a 2DS.
It's
There's
a
a lot of other
DS,
games you gotta
man.
play before.
I have so many other consoles that are way better than a 2DS to be playing, man.
I understand that. It's just when I got my 2DS and I modded it, there's like I got a
Like
256 gigabyte card, and I have half of
I
it filled up, and I've been playing 10, 12 games at the same time. It's just so much shit.
I have mine modded too. I just don't fucking play it.
And right when I got mine modded, it was right when I wanted to get back into video games, and I got a Xbox and everything. So right when I modded it, it was just I don't even know how many hours I got into this console, but it's just so many different games from Pokemon, the fucking Zelda, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, 3D, just a bunch of shit.
Eli, what game have you been playing recently? What's been your game of the week?
The game I'm hooked on at the moment is called Ghosts of Tabor. It's a VR
I've heard of
game.
that game.
You have it's a VR. It's like a game called Escape from Tarkov,
Okay.
which is like it's an extraction looter shooter. So you have a bunker and they give you a little bit of starting gear, right? So you put on gear and then you select a map and you hit deploy and you go into they call it a raid. Okay. So anything you find in raid, if you extract with it, you get to keep it and you can sell it and make money or you can, get more weapons and stuff. And there's a whole like trader system and shit. It's pretty in depth, honestly, for a VR game. And like if you die in raid, there's other players too. There's like 12 other players on the map at all times. So like if you die in raid, you lose everything you brought with you.
Hmm. That sounds interesting. Like
It's a lot of fun.
massive. It's like an online multiplayer VR game.
Yeah.
I've been playing Helldivers
Online multiplayer.
and Darkest Dungeon 2.
I would play Helldivers, but I don't think my PC could run it, and I do not have a PlayStation, so
For shame, you're
you
missing
know.
out, man. They just put in the car. I've been driving a car.
Uh, yeah, I just got a Quest 3 recently because my Quest 2 broke, so
All
I
right.
said fuck it and bought the new one.
I think Billy has a
I've been
VR
playing the
helmet
fuck out of
maker.
that. You should totally, dude, you should totally get on, it's called Ghosts of Tabor. Great game. You should hop on and we should play it. We could play teams. We could like both go into raid together and get a bunch of stuff.
All right, I'll look into it.
It's like $20.
I think that's it. I think that's a good episode.
Okay. Yeah. How
Let's
long have
call
we been
that
going for?
a wrap.
Like an
I
hour?
think it's been going on for like an hour, yeah. So I think we're okay to stop.
Okay.
Um
That's about normal time for the
so yeah, this is
episodes.
this is heck shit. We're just guys hanging out. We started this podcast just to hang out, so we don't really talk about anything in
Bros.
particular.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening. I'm the host now. Okay. Eli, sorry.
No, co-host is still a host. All right, you do your thing, man.
I've taken over and I wasn't even voted for.
Ah, ha, ha.
Ah,
Sounds
ha, ha,
familiar.
ha. All right. All right. I'm gonna end it now. Have a good night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brad. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Had a good time. I expect more podcasts coming up in the next weeks. I'm down to
Yeah.
give my insight on everything.
All right. You told us. I think I'm. You already got me going on for ideas. And next time you come on, I want to listen to some of your drug stories. What kind of? Because we talked about acid in this one, not acid. We talked about mushrooms. We talked about mushrooms. So we'll have to check it out.
Yeah. I'll
No,
start.
definitely. I
I'll
can give you
start
some
writing
good
down
stories when it
some
comes to stuff
notes.
like that. Just randomly bring it up, and I got you on that. Don't trip.
All right.
Anytime I have
Thank
an
you for.
idea, I'll just write it down in the podcast thing.
Yes. Thank you for listening. That will be all.
Definitely do that.